You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from our favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and on the line we got DC chiming in. What's going on today, DC?
Yo, what's up, Big Q?
Chilling, my boy. In this particular show, podcast 236 on the Sports Coma, we're going to be previewing the Saints and Giants matchup up there in New York as the Giants and Saints go at it again once again. We'll break it down here with prediction and we'll give you our thoughts on that. Also, in today's episode, we'll give you the Saints news and notes, signings, releasings. We'll cover a bevy of different topics on this show, as well as the Saints injury report, questions dealing with the secondary, and the like, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get right into it. On podcast 236, we'd like to thank all of our new, because we constantly get new listeners, and our established listeners as well for chiming in today on the Sports Coma as we talk about our beloved Saints and a very entertaining exchange of ideas among anything. But let's get right into it today. Saints news and notes to start off with. The Saints had a few things that happened during the past game. Of course, we know about Patrick Robinson going down with a broken ankle. He's pretty much done for the rest of the season, and that forces the Saints to have questions, basically how the cornerbacks, the secondary has been playing, how they've been getting burnt all over the field. The last game where P.J. Williams came in and was burned for 3 touchdowns, so they replaced him with the guy that was burned with 3 touchdowns the previous couple of games, and here he gets burned for a touchdown. So a lot of questions and the secondary with the New Orleans Saints, but the Saints did bring in a lot of defensive backs. That's the good news. They did bring in Sterling Moore. Remember him? That guy is so slow. I mean, the first time around, he was effective. The second time around, remember the second time around, Pete. Please remember the second time around. He stunk the second time around. And he gets slower every year. But anyway, the Saints brought him in for a look-see. They also brought in former defensive back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Josh Robinson, former Oakland Raider and Chief David Emerson, cornerbacks Dimitri Goodson and Prince Iwara. They brought those guys in for a look-see. Bear in mind, the Saints did actually sign somebody as to play in the defensive backfield, and his name is Arian Springs. The only problem with that is the Saints didn't sign him to the active roster. They actually signed him to the practice squad. So that was a real great idea. You need a defensive back on the active roster, but you sign him to your practice squad. So that was a really good idea. So
I can answer that question.
Go off on it, DC. What you got?
Obviously, the Saints are ahead of the curve. We signed him to the practice squad because obviously we don't allow Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams to practice. So we said we would sign a cornerback and give him practice first, and then we'll make him active on game day. That should stop us from giving up 50-yard bombs in the back end, I think. What you think about that? Sounds like a good strategy, huh?
Sounds perfect to me. I mean, sounds totally perfect to me with some of the indecisive decisions that the Saints have been making. Now, a little backdrop on Aaron Springs, that he was recently with the Chiefs and was cut from their practice squad back in mid-September, and he is from Oregon, went undrafted in the 2018 NFL draft.
The Chiefs have an amazing secondary, by the way, Q, if you haven't noticed. Their secondary is, bar none, top 5 in the game.
Aaron Springs, of course, he's kind of short, 5'10", 208 pounds, 23-year-old rookie out of Oregon. Like I said, the Saints did sign a DB. As of Thursday, 11:55 Central Standard Time, they have not signed anybody. They could right after the show completes. As of right now, they have not signed a defensive back to the active roster, which they need, being that P.J. Robinson is gone. Remember Arthur Millette, who they released and was hoping to come back to the waiver wire? He did not come back to the waiver wire. He was claimed by the Indianapolis Colts. So all you Arthur Millette fans out there, he's no longer on the team. He's now a Indianapolis Colt. So that was a great strategy, right? Also, outside of it, we're going to come back, traverse back to this defensive back situation.
We might need to the waiver wire and letting other teams pick them up. That sounds like a good idea.
It happens to everything. We got rid of all of them. You lose Arthur Millette. You drafted both Natrell Jamerson and Cameron Moore. Both of those guys were claimed by other teams, one by the Giants, one by the Texans. Both of those guys are gone. You release Arthur Millette hoping he'll come back to the waiver wire. He didn't. He was claimed by the Colts. So that's 3 young defensive backs gone. Now your dumb ass is out there trying to find and circulate through a bunch of bottom-feeding defensive backs. None of these guys that they're looking at is actually going to come in and challenge for anything. All these guys they're looking at is just fourth cornerbacks. That's all it is. And they're hell-bent with keeping with P.J. Williams. For the life of me, I don't understand why they're keeping with P.J. Williams. P.J. Williams is not going to automatically become the second coming of Lattimore. It just won't happen, or even close to it. P.J. Williams is what he is, an injury-prone cornerback that can tackle but can't cover. That's what P.J. Williams is. And Ken Crawley is a guy that is at best a nickelback. At best. Not a starting level cornerback. Bullshit. Outside of that, the Saints did operate, and we'll traverse back to this defensive back situation because that's a part of the question today that we'll hit you with after we cover this. The Saints did do something actually wise. They did sign wide receiver Brandon Tate back to the team. For whatever reason, they decided to release him for Tommy Lee Lewis, who ended up stinking the first couple of games. He ultimately got hurt. He's on the IR. They said, okay, well, we made a mistake there. Let's bring Brandon Tate. That was actually a pretty good move. Now you can give most of those duties to Brandon Tate. You can kind of pull a lot of that from Ted Ginn Jr., who got dinged up in the last game. And of course, they were traversing a lot of those duties to Alvin Kamara, who got dinged up. So you have a lot of the offense, key guys in offense. I mean, starters, DC. Wide receiver Ted Ginn is a starter. Running back Alvin Kamara is a starter. He caught 15 passes last game, carried the ball 15 times, 30-something touches. That was like the NFL record that somebody had 15 touches and 15.
1979, it hasn't been done.
Since 79. You have this guy, 15 touches, 15 catches in the game. Not to mention, didn't he have some special teams duty as well? But we're not going to overuse Alvin Kamara.
He played 52, I think, the first game, and the next game is like 53. In this game, he played 70, which is ridiculous. Like he's why we had to play him in special teams, because obviously we didn't have Brandon Tate. And I just thought about it, and I'm thinking, you know how we love guys that do multiple things. Maybe Brandon Tate is going to play cornerback too. So we wonder who they're going to play cornerback. Brandon Tate going to return kicks and play cornerback.
Let me tell you something. For all of the Saints fans that's out there that's saying it couldn't get no worse at cornerback, you are wrong. Imagine if they put Justin Hardy out there. How bad it look. You talking about looking real bad. Justin Hardy, you have PJ. That's what I was saying about my team about not, having just Justin Hardy. If you have PJ Williams on your team, he's gonna get hurt. That's his routine. He gets hurt every year. Somewhere along the line, you're gonna need some depth behind these guys in case Ken Crawley stinks, so you can move him further down against lesser talented wide receivers. The problem is that most NFL teams have one really good wide receiver, a second close to really good wide receiver, and a third pretty good wide receiver. So most teams come with 3 pretty good wide receivers. The problem is you're going to need 3 pretty good cornerbacks. So that's how it explains how a starting level cornerback gets burnt. By
obviously, the Saints said we're going to have 3 pretty good safeties. We're not going to do what everybody else.
DC, you're a comedian today, aren't you? You're bowling the move hard today.
Cool, man. Facts is facts. I love the Saints, man. I ain't never gonna pick another team, but we from New Orleans, man. We gotta keep it real, bro.
Oh yeah, no.
We ain't about to be sugarcoating and tap dancing around stuff today. Not at a time like right now.
The cornerback situation, of course. Brandon Tate is here now. to make room for the signing of Arian Springs, the defensive back that the Saints signed to their practice roster, by the way. They released J.T. Barrett again for the third or fourth time. I think it's the third time in a row that they've released J.T. Barrett. So for the life of me, I had an opportunity to look at the Saints' active roster, and I'm looking at their practice squad, and I'm saying to myself, damn, why would you need 2 tight ends on your practice squad? Why would you need 2 tight ends? Why would you need 2 running backs? Bo Scott is there. I understand Bo Scott, but this Dwayne Washington character. The Saints are absolutely not going to play that guy. They're not going to play Dwayne Washington because Bo Scott's sitting there.
Oh, you're looking at it wrong, man. We need a backup running back for our backup running back on the practice squad.
Anyway, let's get right to our Giants preview, man. This is too much. Let's get right to the Giants. Of course, the Saints, they get ready to tune up for the matchup Sunday coming up with the New York Giants. It's going to be an interesting affair. Every time the Saints and Giants get together, it's always an interesting affair. The last time the Saints battled with the Giants was back in 2015. And, of course, the Giants were able to win that game by the score of 16-13 off the foot of Giant kicker Josh Brown. Of course, Drew Brees in the game was 29-44. He had 263 yards, only 1 touchdown. Mark Ingram, 9 carries, 30 yards on the game. Just a 9-carry game. Brandon Cooks was the top receiver, 7 catches, 68 yards, no score. Eli Manning was 32 of 41 for 368 yards, no touchdowns. Shane Vereen was the top rusher, 14 carries, 42 yards. And, of course, Sterling Shepard was the top receiver, 8 catches, 117 yards on the day. They lost that game 16-13. Now, fast forward to today as the Saints gear up to take on the Giants. This is going to be an afternoon game in New York. The Giants are 1-2, struggling a little bit there, DC, coming into this one. Obviously, 4:25 kickoff on CBS. What you thinking on this, man? Looking at some of the statistics in this game, man. What you think?
Basically, from what I'm saying, man, it's going to be another shootout. We haven't improved anything on defense, so I'm not really confident there. Sean Payton is smart enough to see that the defense is playing bad. We don't have the ability to run the ball. I think they would like to do that because sometimes that would help your defense out tremendously. But with Mark Ingram still being out with that suspension and Alvin Kamara being implemented and used the way he is in the passing game, it's going to be very difficult for us to be a pound the rock type team if we don't have our pounders. So the Saints are definitely going to air it out again. You got a defensive coordinator who isn't really familiar with us. I think Spagnola's not over there and with the Giants anymore, correct?
I don't think so.
So, you got a defense coordinator who doesn't see us all the time. So it ain't like when we played the Browns and we went against Greg Williams, who's an excellent defensive coordinator and who's familiar with the Saints, kind of slowed our offense down a bit. You're gonna see another shootout, man. Maybe another 40-point weekend. I don't see the Giants stopping us, but I also don't see us stopping the Giants. When you got a guy like Odell Beckham, you got Sterling Sharp, they got Ingram at tight end, they have Saquon Barkley at running back. All the skill positions are tremendous. But the one thing we do have going for us, the Giants' offensive line sucks. So if our defensive line would, Davenport get his first sack last year, if Davenport is able to make impact, let's say he has a double sack type game, Cam Jordan shows up, gets 2 or 3 sacks, you get the push from the interior. Tyler Davidson's going to be returning from injury. Maybe he returns to his form from last year, allows the D-tackle on side of him to create good pressures in the pass game. I don't know, man. You could possibly have a blowout or at least a game that's not a shootout. So the sky's the limit, but my gut is saying if we don't do something with this cornerback situation or we don't see a tremendous change, we're probably most likely going to be in for another shootout.
Interesting.
42, 35. No field goals, just all touchdowns.
Saints or Giants? Who wins that one?
Saints.
Okay.
I don't see them losing to the Giants. The Giants are a mid-level team at this point right now, and the Saints are playing for a lot. They have a lot of passion behind their leader, Drew Brees, and they seem to be playing with such tenacity. I think it would be hard to beat them, even though we having a lot of ailments on defense. The team seems to be playing as a unit, and they seem to be confident, other than our cornerbacks on the right side of the defense.
Very interesting. And looking at some of the statistics from said team, Drew Brees 104 completions out of 129, completing past at an all-time rate. 1,078 yards, 8 touchdowns on the season so far for the mighty Drew Brees. Alvin Kamara, 37 carries through 3 games, 141 yards, averaging about 4 yards a carry, has 2 rushing touchdowns. Michael Thomas is the key leader, 38 catches, almost 400 yards, averaging 10 yards a catch, basically a first down every time he catches the ball. 3 scores for him. Alvin Kamara, 30 catches on the year, 289 yards, and 1 score as well. And then, of course, Ted Ginn Jr. and Ben Watson tied for 12 catches each for the 3rd position. Looking at the Giants situation, Eli Manning, 81 of 110, 800 yards, flat passing, 3 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley is awesome. 46 carries, 216 yards, guy averaging almost 5 yards a carry, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, on the season. Odell Beckham, 24 catches, 271 yards, averaging 11 yards a catch. No touchdowns yet, though. Sterling Shepard's actually the 2nd leading receiver behind Odell Beckham's 24 is, get this, Saquon Barkley. He has 21 catches for 137 yards, and every time he catches the ball, he averages 6.5 yards a catch. So big deal right here. Total yards per game, Saints 428 yards a game versus the Giants 319. Passing yards per game, the Saints putting up 345. The Giants just 232 yards per game. Saints averaging 83 yards rushing the game. The Giants averaging 88 yards per game. Now we about to go to our break. When we come back, we're going to finish our Giants breakdown. We're going to talk about the Saints defense and give you a few defensive stats. We're going to hit you with the injury report, and we're going to hit you with the Sports Coma question of the day. All that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guy.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guy.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that?
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, and we're previewing the Saints versus the Giants coming up on Sunday afternoon in MetLife Stadium in New York. Gonna be a big game. The Giants 1-2, the Saints 2-1 on the year, looking to add it to get that extra victory against the Giants. Now, before we get into our injury report, other topics, remaining topics in the show, we're gonna play Sean Payton conference call that happened today and see what the coaches thought on his team. Here's Coach Payton.
Hello, morning, Sean. Hey, Sean. Good morning. How you guys doing? What's your thoughts on bringing back Brandon Tate? I assume with the Tommy Lee Lewis, you're looking kind of for some relief in the return game.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like we know the player well from camp, and he gives us some flexibility as a punt and kick returner.
Do you envision him doing both, like, say, taking Taysom off of there, or do you like Taysom still returning kicks?
We'll see.
No. Coach, what's the message to the defensive backs this week? Obviously, I know they're expecting to be challenged.
Well, I think the first thing is the communication, in that we're clearly understanding the coverage we're in. And then secondly, I would say the pressure up front. You know, in other words, this all goes together here. But we'll have a good 3 days and enough walkthrough time where we'll make sure everyone's on the same page and then understand what we're seeing formationally from this week's team.
So what have you seen from Eli this season?
His third down numbers are real good. The ball's coming out. He's at 80% completion percentage. Conversion numbers are high. He hadn't taken a sack on third down. So I think Pat and those guys on their side of the ball have done a good job. I mean, you see where he's got outlets. I think he's playing with confidence. I think they're playing better on first down. All of those things.
Sean, what's the key in stopping some of those, I guess, rub routes by the end zone, almost those little pick routes I know every team runs? And what's kind of the key to defend against that? Because it seems like when it's run well, it's difficult to defend.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think, look, there's two ways to approach it. A, you have to be understanding as to levels. So if you and I were covering two receivers, one of us would have to be mindful of who's pressed and who's not. And then the ability, if we choose to schematically switch, be on the same page. So how do you handle the bunch or the stacks but the one we got the other day was from whip. So it's going to be hard to see that, and yet can we feel it and switch off, or do we have to do a better job of playing levels better? But communication, and then, you know, these are all the challenges of man-to-man coverage. And the tighter splits are easier to say, hey, we're going to switch these and play a certain technique. But when that comes from whip, we got to be smart. Now, it's supposed to be within a yard of the line of scrimmage.
Right, the block, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Coach Sean Payton giving his thoughts on his conference call this morning. DC, immediate thoughts on what Coach Payton was breaking down.
Very, very insightful vanilla talk.
Very vanilla.
The rub routes, he actually went more in depth than I thought he would go with that. Payton is definitely not playing special teams kick return anymore.
Right.
I heard his answer, but that's how I interpreted that. And pretty much everything else is typical Sean Payton. He ain't going to give you too much, but definitely a good conference call. He definitely got some information out of him, which you don't usually get much.
No, you do not. Looking at some of the defensive statistics before we get into that injury report, top defensive players, of course, Demario Davis leads the team in total tackles, 26 total tackles. Marcus Williams has 15. Von Bell is 14, followed by Ken Crawley's 12. AJ Klein is above Ken Crawley, followed by Cameron Jordan, who's having, and Sheldon Rankins has 12. Cameron has 13.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
I think a lot of people are being hard on Sheldon Rankins right now. He's been playing pretty good this season. I mean, he hasn't got a sack. He hasn't had a bunch of tackles for a loss, but he's been disruptive every game. And as you can see, he's making tackles. So anytime he makes a tackle, that means the offense obviously didn't get past the first line of defense. So I think Sheldon Rankins is doing a good job. People need to lay off of him, man. A lot of Saints fans talking he needs to be the first round pick he's supposed to be and all. I think Sheldon Rankins is playing pretty good.
All right, that leads us into our injury report. Let's have that injury report, please.
We have none other than our number one stud, most popular player right now, Alvin Kamara, with a knee, Cam Jordan's bicep. They were limited in practice, which probably just means they needed some rest, so they're not that hurt. Ted Ginn's knee also was hurting him, as well as Cameron Meredith's knee, as well as Tyron Armstead's knee. We need a new knee doctor. All their knees hurting. Andrew Pete's ankle, obviously still dealing with that issue. Tyler Davidson, who they also said would play, was limited as well with a foot injury. And then you had Matt Tayo with a knee as well. So 6 knees, a bicep, an ankle. It doesn't sound like anything too serious for anybody. Patrick Robinson, of course, is out for the year. No reports of Von Bell. I remember he came back in that game after he got a little banged up. So we're looking all right. But I think they forgot to put 2 people on the injury report. So I'm going to go ahead and put them down. You had Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams. They have a damaged psyche. I just want to put that out there for everybody. They obviously, the medical person didn't cover that, so I thought y'all would like to know that.
They got a lot worse than a damaged psyche, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, we're going to move right along here. Next thing, we're going to talk about the Sports Coma Question of the day. Now, the Sports Coma Question of the day is, who should the Saints sign at DB to help the secondary? Some people might say, hey, we might not be able to sign somebody, but perhaps maybe we could trade for somebody. That's acceptable too. Reply. Tell us what you think about the Saints situation. Tell us about how stupid you think it is for the Saints to sign a defensive back that they have injuries to one, they lost one, they need help at the defensive back position, correct? Then why would they sign a defensive back, Aaron Springs, and put him on the practice squad? Could you make sense of that?
And why you need to lay off my team, bro? I told you he need practice. It's obviously we will not let Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams practice, so they had to sign a player that they could let practice.
Oh man, it just doesn't sink in. Just hadn't sink in yet, but there we go. But that answer that question.
Man, what's wrong with you about this practice part? You're just not thinking.
No, I must not be, and neither are they. But that's once again, that's the Sports Coma Question of the day is, who should the Saints sign at the DB position to help the secondary? Tell us what you think. I want to know. We need answers. We need answers to this whole big stinking mess that the Saints are doing as it stands right now. Now, we're going to read the replies, of course, of the previous Sports Coma Question of the day.
I'm going to get the answer to the question?
Sure you can. The Sports Coma Question today from the previous show was, did the Saints' overtime win over Atlanta inspire confidence in their Super Bowl hopes? That was the last question from the previous show. Of course, we got a couple of people chimed in. Marvin Norman chimed in. What's up, Marvin? His reply was, there's not a single team right now early in this season look like Super Bowl contenders. My confidence in the Saints are strong. We started off slow last year and we're actually starting off better this year than we did last year. That's true. Good point. Remember, without Mark Ingram, when Ingram comes back, that will help our defense because we chew up the clock with the 1-2 punch running attack. We will be great. Meredith and Smith will come along even stronger. Davenport already coming along. We will be great. So Marvin Norman, keeping it positive. I love that, man. Big ups to Marvin Norman, man, for chiming in with that great comment there. Next comment is from Joshua London. He's chiming in. The Saints showed incredible resolve and determination in this overtime win, which will go a long way in a potential title run. Even though it's early in the season, this was a pivotal win, road game against a divisional rival. The lackluster secondary play can only improve. One would hope through additional signings, time to get a cohesive unit, Ingram coming back will aid tremendously in giving the defense rest. As an added bonus, they will have 2 very winnable games coming up with the opportunity to roll to 4-1 into the bye week and set up high levels of confidence moving forward in the meat of the schedule. Go Saints. And who that? That's Joshua London chiming in. Very positive comment.
I love his optimism.
Both of those guys have tremendous confidence right there. The next comment came from Timothy Russ. I'll feel better if we have another corner opposite of Lattimore. Ingram will be back. He'll make the offense more balanced. I don't think Drew will last throwing that much. Putting the workload on Kamara and Ingram, that'll help out the defense as well. Time of possession is very valuable and essential for our defense to rest. That's Timothy Russ chiming in. A good commentary all the way around from very good commentators. DC, before I read the rest of them, what's your thought on those really good positive comments?
They're all positive. That's my thought. That's the only negative I have to say about them. I think optimism is definitely great. Strong fans were always a little too optimistic. The last one I think was the most realistic comment about Drew Brees and hoping to sign another cornerback. But unless we make a drastic change, our guy, number 2 commenter, I'm sorry, I'm horrible with y'all names. I forget my name sometimes. But the number 2 guy that commented, I don't think the secondary is just going to magically get better. We have to do something to ensure that it gets better. So other than that, man, I thought they were great comments, very optimistic things, and it made me feel a little good.
They did, and we got about 3 more left to read right quick, and we're going to hit those very quickly. Joshua Welling chiming in. What's up, Joshua? Yeah, confidence in Drew Brees to bring them back in games, but Super Bowl, that's a big no. Unless someone steps up big time in the secondary, teams will continue to attack the defense with the long ball till the Saints can't stop it. I cannot believe how the Saints coaching staff really dropped the ball in the evaluation of the 2 defensive backs they drafted. One went to the Texans, the other went to the Giants. Maybe they're waiting for Ingram to come back to be more balanced, which that can help the defense out with the time possession. Keeping the defense off the field, there's nothing wrong with the pass rush. The issues we are having is in the secondary. If the Saints don't address this issue, they will miss the playoffs. Tough teams are coming, like the Eagles, Rams, Ravens, to name a few. All these teams will take the Saints to the woodshed if the defense can't get it together. Very, very big commentary right there.
Comment so far, man.
That is good one.
Head on, right on, spot on, man.
Another comment from Rendell Bartholomew chiming in. He said, sorry to say no Super Bowl this year, not with this secondary. The defense will be prime reason they missed the playoffs this year. Saints secondary make things too easy for the other offense every week. Sad. That is Rendell Bartholomew. He doesn't like it, and he's chiming in with his thought. DJ Austin is chiming in. What's up, DJ? He said, no, because if they don't fix the defense, we could be 11-5, but it could be a Super Bowl team. But I hope they fix the defense, or at least the corner, because if the corner do their job, then the strong safety and free safety can do their job. But it all depends on what team you play in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Good comment there by DJ Austin. Thank you, DJ, for chiming in.
We're not going to be at 11-5, though, my man, if we don't fix the defense.
And we have Crass 4 chiming in with his comment as well. He said, Dennis Allen needs to turn in his whistle and cap. I thought the secondary position was his strong point in coaching. Number 20 and number 26 are weak links, lost, confused, dazed, and not prepared. Offense is sharp. Breeze is Breeze, but damn that defense. Specifically, the secondary is pure trash. You just can't outscore everyone. I don't think Sean Payton has had a decent defense since Greg Williams left. No takeaways, strips, etc. I love my Saints, but you ain't beating no one in January with that trash secondary. That's Crass 4 with a real crass comment on the Saints defense, but very real and very true comment on these comments, DC.
These were our less optimistic fans. I noticed how you paired them. They're spewing a lot of venom, as they should, man. I mean, yeah, we won the Atlanta game. It was a very historic victory. It's probably one of the best Atlanta games we've ever had in the series. But we can't just sit back and act like we was in the driver's seat the whole time, like we knew they were going to win, and, you know, everything is fine, and this is going to change the whole season. No, it's not. Maybe it will offensively. We might have a legendary offense this year, but if we don't do something drastically on defense, it ain't going to change nothing. And I like the fact that all of the guys you brought up the next go-round, they all address the elephant in the room, which is the defense, which is our cornerbacks, which is also Dennis Allen, because if he has those guys out there playing at cornerback, that has to say something about him. You know, we can't just put it all on the players. Maybe you need to put some training wheels on. What you're asking them to do in the scheme should be a lot less. They shouldn't have as much responsibility. I know that might limit the effectiveness of our defense a little, but At least hopefully don't give up a 50-yard touchdown. I'd rather them walk down the field methodically than just throw the ball 50 yards and go in the blink of an eye. Very good comments by everyone.
Very good comments. And remember, and I'd like to thank y'all for all y'all terrific comments. And remember, reply always, and it's to everybody, both new and established listeners of the show. Give us your replies on the Sports Coma question today. We actually read your replies and give you a shout out on the show. So the question of the day for today's Sports Coma is, who should the Saints sign at the defensive back position to help the secondary? Very simple. Even if you think they should trade for somebody, tell us who they should trade for, realistically speaking, by the way. And, let us know. Tell us what you think about that. And, of course, when the next show roll around, we'll read your replies. Maybe the Saints would have heard you out and heard your comment and went after that particular person. DC, you wanted to chime in on the previous show comments. Go ahead on, sir, before we leave.
Oh, I'm going to throw out. We should trade, and I got just the player. Big Q going to tell me I lost my mind. But if the sun shines every other day, at least, it's possible. It could happen. I say we try to pull off a team with none other than the Arizona Cardinals for Patrick. The Arizona Cardinals suck. We obviously need to trade for a player. Why not shoot for the stars? What you want? 2020 first round pick? Can't give you 2019. We ain't got one. Give them a 2020 first round pick. Give them a fourth round pick next year. Who you want? we could give away a player, not named Mark Ingram or most on offense, but we definitely can offer them something. Maybe we got to give them Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe they're not sold on Josh Rosen. We need to do something, man. If we're really making a push for a championship teams, when they have problems like this, typically early in the season, will address it with something dramatic and something a little over the top and something people might have thought was impossible. I mean, right now the Rams are looking like possibly a championship team. Who thought they could get Marcus Peters for a third-round pick? But you don't know till you call.
Very interesting, very true, DC. I mean, you back it up with facts and stats. The Marcus Peters thing did go down that way. And, of course, the Saints should be working the line for a trade because some of these cornerbacks they're trying out, they don't seem like they're going to really help the team, maybe as a fourth defensive back. But you need a guy that you can pair on the other side of Marcus Lattimore that can really, really do some serious, guarding.
Can you imagine
wide
that,
receiver. So,
Patrick Peterson and Marcus Lattimore?
That'd be awesome.
Him how to be elite?
That's
the best possible scenario for you.
That is awesome. I would totally love that. I just wonder if the Saints got the balls to do it. That's what it basically comes down to.
I think they possibly do. Are they thinking about it? Are they even, at this point, I wonder sometimes if our front office is even that creative to think about it based on some of the moves that we make.
Well, I'll tell you what, DC, if I was running the front office, there's no way in hell that I would have called Sterling Moore to come in here for a tryout. That's just not creative right there. I'm sorry. But, there were...
And then the Chicago Bears called him right after we did. So they're following behind us.
There are other cornerbacks out there. Some people mentioned Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie as a possible candidate. Plays for the Raiders, I think, right now. But he might be interested in something like that. That is even better than Sterling Moore.
Why is Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie up for trade? He just signed with the Raiders this year.
Them falling through the floor, and you trade Khalil Mack, man. If you trade Khalil Mack and not pay him, like really pay him the money. I mean, if anybody deserves to get paid besides Carr, it's Khalil Mack. I mean, if you don't pay Khalil Mack, anybody opposite of the quarterback on that Raider roster is fair game, in my opinion. You have to pay your best offensive and your best defensive player. And allowing him to leave, that is absolutely asinine. And remember, he left because he wanted the money. Pay him the goddamn money. But anyway, that's their team. We'll let them deal with that.
I think you got a point with DLP. Well, we did mention that we should have signed him when he was out there.
We did, man. You ain't going to find a talent like that just floating around in free agency. And you got to give up some picks. You ain't going to do nothing to screw up the picks anyway. But anyway, that'll do it for the show. We appreciate y'all guys for chiming in. New and established listeners to the Sports Coma, thank you. As always, if you enjoy the show and you find us quite entertaining, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the PRO Media Network and become a contributor. You can contribute one time or sign up for a monthly contributorship where you can help the platform grow even further as we can reach even more Saints fans. Also, sign up to our social media pages. The links in the description section below. And from me and DC and the entire crew here at the PRO Media Network, Thank you for listening. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
There's a reason this office canceled Casual Friday. Why this guy is getting cut out of the will. And why sibling rivalries really exist. There's a reason he's always Employee of the Month. And why no shirt and no shoes is no problem. There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAstore.com has all the gear.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.